Before you even roll out of bed, your coffee is already brewing and your window blinds are sliding open to let the sun in. All of this happens because your gadgets are part of a busy social network, constantly talking, asking for data, and offering favors. When your thermostat, fridge, and light bulbs are in constant contact, they create a bustling, invisible city infrastructure living right alongside you. But that invisible city has a vulnerability. Somewhere between your smart doorbell and your router, a device has been quietly compromised by an outside attacker. This isn't like a traditional robbery. There are no smashed windows or jimmied locks, so at first you'd have no idea anyone was even there. Because the break-in is digital, a hacked device can keep working right in front of you, following a thief's orders for months without ever being noticed. To find out how they pulled it off, we have to look past the physical gadgets and peel back the layers of technology to see where the defenses failed. Sometimes it starts with the physical device itself. If an attacker can get their hands on a smart doorbell or an outdoor camera, they can try to tamper with the hardware directly to find a way inside. Other times, they attack the signals traveling through the air. They sit nearby and intercept the invisible messages your devices are sending to each other, scooping up a copy of your private data. It's a lot like a spy using a radio to listen in on a private conversation. They don't need to touch your devices to steal information as it moves from one room to the next. But the most common target is the device's brain, the internal software that tells the hardware how to behave. If that internal software is out of date, it might have a tiny flaw in its programming. Attackers look for these gaps so they can slide in their own instructions and take total control of the machine. Because your devices, your signals, and your software all work together, a single unpatched flaw in any one of them is all a thief needs to bypass your physical home security. When an invisible crime like this happens, it takes a specialized team of digital detectives to track down the evidence. The investigation starts by scanning every single light bulb and plug in the house. The team looks at the data until it points out the one gadget that's behaving strangely. Once they find the target, they don't just start clicking around. They create a perfect digital clone of the device's memory and lock it in a secure folder for study. They do this because the original evidence is incredibly fragile. Poking around in the actual device could accidentally wipe away the tiny digital traces the intruder left behind, so they tape off the real machine and work only on the copy. Inside that copy, they use forensic tools to sift through the data. They're looking for the exact digital fingerprint, the specific code the intruder used to break in. Finally, they take everything they've discovered and translate it into a clear story. They turn a mountain of confusing data into a document that explains exactly how the thief got in. Even though the break-in was invisible, this process ensures that digital attackers always leave a trail that can be followed. You don't have to wait for a detective to find a problem. You can start locking your digital doors today with a few simple habits. First, always update your device's internal software. Manufacturers send out these updates specifically to fix vulnerabilities, sealing those gaps in the device's brain before a thief can find them. Second, never stick with the default password. Setting a strong, unique password for every device is the easiest way to stop a thief from just guessing their way into your home. Finally, you can teach your devices to be more skeptical. By setting your network to verify every incoming message, your devices act like they're checking the ID of every visitor, ignoring any commands that don't come from you. As we add more gadgets to our lives, our invisible home networks are only going to get larger and more complex. By staying on top of your updates and knowing how the digital world works, you can keep your invisible city safe and stay in control.